welcome to Classic Car Diaries. The automotive world is full of weird and wonderful combinations. Here we have a French car with an American V8 and an Italian design, manufactured in Brazil, France, and Australia, the three corners of the globe. Today we're checking out the unique Simca Vedette. So to find out more about this car, let's have a chat with its owner, Pradeep Moraes.
Hi Amrit, good to be here.
So Pradeep, tell us about how you first laid eyes on this beautiful car.
This car belonged to my friend, the renowned collector of arts of all types and forms, and of course classic cars, Mr. Manoj Shanmugam.
Right.
And I saw this at his place and persuaded him to part with it, which he did at a very, very reasonable price.
Fantastic.
So thanks to Manu,
But he's also like someone who appreciates multiple forms of art.
Exactly.
Which you can see in the design of this car. Because the Italian designer behind this, he actually did this convertible version of the Fiat 1100. The 1100 TV, and it was a very, very rare convertible version. And when you look at the front of that car, I'll put it on screen now.
Okay.
It's actually very similar front to this, but a completely different car behind it. But the front end is very, very similar to this.
Simca used to borrow from Fiat.
Okay, is that so?
Also, in the pre-war years and immediately post-war, all their cars were with borrowed Fiat technology.
Right.
And it is with the Aronde, I think, that they went into their own design and manufacture and technical input.
It's a great segue because I think the Aronde is part of the reason why this car exists. Because the Aronde did so well for them that they were looking to upgrade their factory. And Ford France, which, I mean, if I'm honest, I was shocked that Ford France existed.
Right.
And was almost as old as Ford UK, and it was initially put there to manufacture the Model T.
Really?
Yeah, they had this model called the Ford Vedette that they were creating with this flat head side valve V8.
Right.
They were looking to exit the French market.
Yes.
Simca at the time had an absolute hit on their hands with the Aronde, and they were looking to expand, and it was a match made in heaven.
Right. So they bought that factory.
They bought that factory.
Who say?
Yeah. I can't remember the name right now, but yes,
even
that
if
place.
I remember it, I can't pronounce it.
Yes. Let's not try and offend too many French people.
Exactly.
I found a very unique arrangement. They sold the factory along with the rights to the designs that were created in that factory.
From what I have read, this car first debuted in the '54 Paris Motor Show in the Ford stall or exhibition area. And it was only in '55 that it carried the Simca
badge. So this is the second iteration of the Vedette, which was a slight facelift and switch around, and I think slightly different tune of engine and such to the initial one that came out in '54, because this is a '57, as you said.
'57,
right?
Probably the '58 model as
the '58 model as we were
yeah.
discussing with Charit. Yes. It's such an eye-catching design, and the fins on the back are so evident of the American design that everyone was sort of moving towards the time.
But not over the top either.
Many people don't realize this was a unique car to France at the time. It was designed for France and Europe in general. So, it's not simply a Ford design or something that carried over.
And I think Simca was trying to go into the larger car market, the more powerful car market. What went wrong was two things. One was the '57 Suez crisis, which then led to higher taxation and fuel costs, which is why they brought in the Ariane.
That's right.
With a 1.3 and a 1.5.
It's really amazing now you think about it that this car competed with the Citroën DS and with so many other cars. Mercedes would have had the 170S.
They had the 180 and the 190 Ponton.
Yeah. And you were saying this has quite a power advantage over most of those cars.
Yeah.
At the time this came out, I think it was the only French V8 car there was.
Yes.
So, Pradeep, you were talking about the meaning of Simca and Vedette in this.
Simca is an acronym. Basically, a couple of French words meaning we are in the business of manufacturing engines and bodies for motor cars.
Okay.
So, those words together spell out Simca.
Yeah.
But what is interesting is, if you throw your mind back, how many brands, how many marks are actually acronyms? To start with the MG.
Maurice Garages.
SS.
The Swallow Sidecar Company.
Exactly. BMW.
Yeah.
Audi.
Bavarian Motor Works. Yeah.
DKW.
Everything. You think about it.
Alfa Romeo.
Yeah.
And even in this day and age, BYD. Where Vedette is concerned, currently there are two meanings. One is an ancient meaning, which meant a sentry or a lookout.
Okay.
The more interesting meaning is the star of the show.
Right.
Which referred to the star of a can presentation or at the Moulin Rouge or whatever it is.
Very theatrical.
Absolutely. So shall we go with the second meaning?
Yeah, let's go with the second meaning. I think this deserves the star of the show, especially with that grille.
Yeah.
Can we get into your restoration process with this car? It's certainly not your average classic car. It makes it a very special thing. What impact did that have on the restoration process for you? Was it difficult to find
I didn't have to restore much.
Okay.
Right? I actually drove this car back from Manos.
Yeah.
Shortly after that, I had difficulty, as we all have with classic cars.
Of course.
And I was very fortunate to come across a person by the name of Vince Parisi in Australia, who's the reigning expert on all things Simca and especially Vedette. He actually races Vedettes to this day.
That's amazing.
Right? Against different types of competition. And he was extremely helpful. He is extremely helpful to the extent that we even exchanged parts on the understanding that he sends me a part and I send him the replacement part back, and that arrangement has worked.
Fantastic.
A few cosmetic things. I put on some the white walls, which I think has enhanced the appearance.
Character. Absolutely.
Again, got the hubcaps on wheels.
Yeah.
And as I said, a few things to do with the engine, which he helped out with. So yes, if you do not have the correct contact, getting spares will be difficult. I think you're better off getting spares from Australia than from France. But if you do have the contact, it is still available. It's still open to you. There is a vibrant Simca Vedette community.
Yeah. And I mean, just going on off that, even in my research for this video, I came across Vince's either his Facebook page as well as I watched a video on the Simca Ronde, and it turns out it was his Simca Ronde.
Oh, right.
And he came and presented and stuff, and that really shows you how small the world is in these more niche collector circles.
Yeah. I didn't give you the name.
No, you didn't give me the name. I actually asked you, was it someone called Vince? Because he mentioned that he races a Vedette.
Right.
So it's really amazing that how small the world is, and also it shows what a resource the internet really is in all of this. You'd be lost without it because you'd never find these people.
Yeah. As a result, then cars like this will go into disuse and
So for someone who, for their first classic car, is looking at something a little out of the norm, what advice would you have for someone looking to get into that?
Into a Simca market?
Into generally a car that's not so commonly found, a rarer classic car.
Go by the idea or the basis that classic cars of essence are also rare.
Yeah,
the rarer they are, the more classic they are.
That's true.
Right?
Absolutely.
And
I think Fiverr would agree with that.
Yeah. When you look at what a car is giving you, of course, you take the open tops, the cabriolets, they give you a completely different sensation, offering, feel. But you take a car like this, which combines a fair degree of power, nice low-end torque, smooth driving, and it doesn't so constrict you. With my girth, that comes in pretty helpful.
So you would say it would be something that someone can restore maybe as their first classic car? Would you say? Also, it's very important to look at the era, because I think a 1980s or a 1990s niche car with so many different components and so many different things required to make it work would be very difficult for someone embarking on that as their first car. But a 1950s car like this, there's so much fewer components, so many things that you can even turn out yourself.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think one of the things Vince does, from what I've seen, is that he actually turns out components for his car. And that just makes the whole job a lot easier.
And with the simple electrics, right?
Exactly,
No heavy dependence on electronics.
Absolutely.
Or no dependence on life. Easier and cheaper.
All right. I think we've chatted enough about the car. Shall we take it for a drive?
Let's do that.
Let's do it.
Let's do that.
Okay, so we're now driving the Simca Vedette. Pradeep, what do you like most about driving this car?
Several things. It's quite a curious animal.
Yeah.
As you said, it's a side valve flat carrying a V8 engine with 2.4 liters. It
Quite
combines
a small capacity, no?
Yes, so the pistons are fairly small.
Yeah.
And there's a curious combination there where it's a V8, it's 2.4, but it only has 3 forwards. Having said that, what is pleasurable is that the third gear is very long and very versatile, so you don't really find yourself searching for a fourth gear or missing it. She has some very decent low-end torque.
Right.
And as you can see, drives very smoothly.
Very quietly.
Yeah. So, fun to drive.
We were talking about the gentleman you get your parts from, Vince. He races his.
Yeah.
And there are actually like some pictures I found of it racing in Brazil, Australia.
Yeah.
Can you see that sort of happening, really?
Difficult from our point of view at this stage, you know,
Sure.
where all of us are much more used to more powerful engines.
Sure.
But taking the car in the context of its era, they said 80 or 84 bhp depending on what the tune-up was.
Yes.
Whereas others in that period of time had actually far less.
Right.
403 I think had about 58.
Yeah.
The Zephyr had 68.
Yeah.
The DS, which actually took over sales from this, had 75. Mercedes-Benz 190 had 75. And the BMW 501, also around the same time, had again 75 or 72 or something. So at 80 or 84, it was quite a sprightly thing at the time.
Yeah. Hard to imagine now with those numbers, but it's very true. And also with the V8, you just have a different kind of profile, right?
Feel and the
feel, the sound,
the throatiness.
A V8, I feel, just elevates any car.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Pradeep.
Thank you, Amrit.
It's been great. And we'll catch you all next time.
Look forward to that.